Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of Late Night Talks with Khani Campbell featuring Tonio Ferreria. So today, me and Tonio, we're back at it again. We have a few topics on our mind that we'd love to speak about today. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the podcast. Tonio, my brother.
Yeah.
It's been a couple. It's probably been like 3 weeks now since since we've sat down to do a podcast. So really excited to jump into this one. So yeah, Tonio. So a few things I wanted to talk to you about today. So I think I'll be the first one. I'm sure you have your pointers as well that you'd love to discuss on the podcast. So I'll go first.
I have a few here.
I'll jump into. A few there. Perfect. And drinking your wine as usual.
Yeah, as usual. Yeah, man.
So what we having today?
So today, it's a typical Malbec. I actually don't remember the name of it. As you realize by now, I love the Malbecs.
You love the Malbec, yeah.
Love the Malbecs. I don't know which one it was. Kim, she's the lady at my wine store. She picked it out for me. I didn't get to look at the name, but just trusted Kim. Trust Kim always.
Big up Kim every time. Big up Kim every time. Yeah, man. Big up Kim every time. Kim, anyway, if you watch this podcast, thank you for taking care of my boy and make sure him get him weekly wine supply. I appreciate it,
100%.
100%. All right, so yeah, Tonio. So the thing that I wanted to jump in, right? I wanted to talk about the sides of risk, right? So risk in life is a necessary task that the human beings have to take in order for evolution to take place, right? So the things that you've learned, you're applying them, and the application is the risk that you're gonna take, right? If you were studying fighting or horse betting and you studied and you saw where a particular fighter or a particular team or a particular horse would do better than his opponents, then you'd make an educated guess, right? On who would win, right? You take a risk, you put your money up front to risk it, right? It's the same thing within business. So let's talk about the first side of risk, which is when you don't take action. So what happens in that side of risk is a constant fight with yourself. Now, if there's something that you really want to do and you know that it is very risky to take, the hardest thing is to do is to be the first one to do it. Like, it's your first time taking the risk. That's the hardest part because you have no experience in it. And if you weren't the typical person that spend it all and make it back tomorrow, it's gonna even be harder for you to even take actions on that part, right? So when you're in that part, what it actually does, it eats away at your subconscious. The ideas that you have, the action that you want to take the actions that you want to take place, they're going to start to eat at your subconscious day after day after day after day. And I think this is how people get depressed, because they spend so many times in their head thinking about what they need to do, thinking about the life that they want to create for themselves, but taking zero actions towards it, right? And I think that is where this deep sadness comes from with some people, or why it is that they feel stuck or depressed, right? So that's just the dark side of the risk. So that is when you don't take action, right? The stagnancy, you remain in the same place and watch all of the other people who are even dumber than you, but they're smart enough to take the risk, elevate themselves in that regards, right?
And then what you just described to me was a tragedy.
Yeah, it is a tragedy. It is a tragedy. It is literally, in my opinion at least, it is sad. In my opinion at least, I think it is it's the worst experience that you could put yourself through as a human being on the earth. Alright? Literally, your time is ticking away, your youth is ticking away, but you decide that you are not going to take action on anything at all. You're not going to try anything just because you are so afraid of failure. Right? Not knowing that failure is the only thing that you need to go forward, because it is going to teach you all you need to know. Right? Now let's talk about the next side of risk, which is actually when you take the risks. Now there's a few things that comes with that. One of them is disappointment. Right? You're taking a risk. That means that you're gambling that it's going to work out or it is not going to work out. But either way, you have to be fine with whatever outcome you are handed. Right? So if you're handed a good outcome, hoorah! Your plans have worked out and now you get to enjoy the fruits of the risk that you took. Right? But if it don't work out, then you get to enjoy the lessons.
You always walk away with the lessons, if nothing else. And that is
always
worth so much more in my opinion.
Yes, the lessons is worth so much more, because there's a saying that we have here in Jamaica that we say, once bitten, twice shy. right? If you're in a gym and you're sparring and somebody punches you in the face with their right hand, the next time you're going to move your head out the way so you don't get punched, right? Experience is what you get on the other side of the risk, and that experience, you cannot teach experience. Experience has to be earned the hard way. So you have to go at it day in, day after. You have to fail, you have to fall, you have to come up a few times, you have to lose a lot of money. There are so many things that you have to learn along the way. And when you look back on your progress that you've made, especially when you just started out being an experienced person in taking your risk in whatever industry you decide that you're going to pursue, when you look back on your progress, you're going to literally cringe. You're going to cringe at the person that you were, right? Because now you've taken so many action that you have now put yourself in a glorified role, right, in society, right? And your life is going to improve when you look back on who you was when you just started out. You're gonna feel cringe, but you're gonna feel extremely grateful that you decided to take the action, right?
And it's so important to take those actions, to take those risks as early as possible, because you might create this fake image for yourself. You might wake up one day, you're 50 years old, and you might think that you're great, and then you get fired from your job and you realize that you have no use. You're useless in actual society. You're being your mind was being programmed all this time to believe that you're of value, but you can't provide value to anybody except that company who was milking you for some money. And no, they don't need you anymore because AI can take over your job. You're useless now. So you go back out there and you realize there were no foundational building blocks beneath you. It was all air. Your structure looks like this. It should have been this. There is no actual foundation to you. So it's important to take those risks earlier on. And this is the part that we have to acknowledge as well. Life is really and truly like a game, because
it is a game.
Let's call it the Matrix, because that word, it has like some connotations with it, but it works perfectly for this. Because there are rules just as there are in a game. And if they are broken, maybe you break one without even realizing, you might end up in prison, right? Or you might lose some money. So there are consequences to certain decisions, and a lot of them are made up. And understanding and upgrading like your avatar, keeping yourself in good physical health, it's all very much like a game. So really just researching the steps to take, learning from people who were there before you. And we have never been at a better point in time to do all of this, because right now we have access to the information that people are sharing with us. We have access to experiences. At 5 years old, somebody can actually take up their tablet and learn what a 90-year-old man has to offer. He can gain that insight without living 90 years. Do you understand what kind of power that is? And we take it for granted.
It's so powerful that now we have that technology available, and I'm just so happy that it's readily available for all of us to use, and for everybody that decide that they're going to take action to use these tools to their benefit, they're going to see a lot of a return on investment for all of the actions they have taken. All right, Tonio. So with that being said, let us hop into the next one. We're going to pause here, reach a 10-minute mark, and then we'll come back. All right, Tonio. All right. So we are back, Tonio. So let us jump into the next one, my brother. All right. Yeah, man. So what's the next point? You said you had some points written down. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit.
Man.
So let me hear what you have now.
Yeah. So one thing I think about sometimes is how a lot of people who are sad like to spend a lot, and they don't know why they do it, but it's really just to fill a void inside of them. Yeah. So because they are sad, they buy something to introduce novelty into their life. So they buy maybe a shoe, and it's taking 2 days to ship to them, and they keep tracking the package. Oh, it's almost here. But then the minute it's here and they try it on, it's not novel anymore. They throw it in the closet. Yeah. And they do the same thing again. It's that process, that anticipation of novelty in their life and experiencing that novelty in the moment, and then it just wears off and they do it again. So a lot of people, they go to work, and they're sad, and they come home, their lives are not fulfilled, and companies actually target these people. You and I know this because these are the people we love, as entrepreneurs, because you want to, it's a sad situation, but it's just real, and this is how you make the money. Because these people are sad, and they buy your products to fill the voids in their life.
Correct.
And as an entrepreneur, you're going to take advantage of that, because look at companies selling maybe Like even concerts. I love the idea of concerts. They might
Yeah.
charge like $400, $500 for a concert. Why would you spend that much money to go see somebody sing? There are people singing over here for way less. Yes, it's a different artist, right? And the branding has everything to do with it, sure. But somebody who was rich was probably invited to that concert. They went to it for free. The shilling of the rich man goes so much farther than that of the poor man in high society. And that says something.
It says.
Because the poor people are the only ones losing out. And it's not poor necessarily just in their money or assets. It's really a mind thing, and people say that all the time, but I don't think they really understand what that means. The poverty actually stems from here at first, and there is no way you can escape it unless you emancipate yourself mentally.
And you know what's crazy is like these things, especially to emancipate yourself, these things are preached or have been preaching for a long time. There have been people that have been preaching these things. You know, the Martin Luther Kings, the Bob Marleys of the world. You know, they've been preaching. And what's crazy or what's been consistent is that you will always have people, no matter how much you try to remove them, no matter how much you try to cancel them, throw them in jail, try to assassinate them, you will always have people speaking up against injustice in the world. Right? I realize this, Tonio. You know, you talk about how people are sad, but this is what I realize, right? The world works, or the narratives in the world, they work because you have to have more people in the world that are what's the word I'm looking for here? All right, let's just put it like this: you have to have more people in the world who believe the narratives that are told more than the people that oppose it. Right? So once you have those people who will listen to what high government officials say, when you know they, even if they come up there and they lie, they believe them. Right? As long as you have more people like that in the world, more than the people that actually think and sit back and say, but this man's words not adding up, then their narratives will always work. Right? I'm talking about even people that work for the government, the police officers, military. These people are brainwashed, you know. They're brainwashed to believe that what they are doing is the right thing. You understand? And whatever they're working for is the right thing. But that's why the system works. It needs to be reformed. It is very old and outdated. There are a lot of changes that need to be made. But I'm just talking about the reason why it works is because of the fact that in the world you have more people that are susceptible to the narratives that the governments push or that society push more than the people that actually think for themselves. Right?
Yes, Khani. I love how you phrase that. And I found the word that you're looking for. What you wanted to say was people who aren't self-actualized. So majority of people will not be self-actualized. They have not found purpose. They have not aligned with their true selves. They're somewhere at the bottom of, if you're familiar with Maslow's pyramid of needs, it's like they're at the bottom struggling with physiological needs. They're trying to find community. They're trying to find housing. They're trying to find food. So basically, it's like this. You can't philosophize on a hungry stomach. You're trying to eat. So right now, you can't think higher. You can't realize all of these things that are happening. So that's one of the things. The second thing is ignorance. You're so much more susceptible to narrative control when you are ignorant. Not in like a negative, not using negative sense, just that you generally don't know things, right? And it makes it even worse when you don't know things and you hang on to the programs that have been put into you so dearly, you know, because it represents who you are. And I think we, you know, people who are able to see beyond all of these things, we ask too much of these people to let it go, because think about it from their perspective. These narratives, everything that they are, it's literally their existence. You're asking them to let go of everything that they've believed in up to this point, everything that constitutes them. They would have to kill their old self to be able to move forward, and that is scary to do.
You know what about that too? When you understand that you just mentioned, then you're able to have conversations with them without you yourself being ignorant to what they're saying. Because I was having a conversation with my grandmother in the week, and she's a deep-rooted Christian lady, right? Which we need to touch on that one of these days. It's going to be a very interesting podcast to talk about the mindset of a Christian from a very young age to a very old age. I'm telling you, you can't convince that person that they don't know what the presence of God feels like. Okay? So anyways, so I know that the things that I talk about are the things that I believe in. She would probably be a bit more, you know, ignorant to the stuff then. So what I tried to do in that moment, I thought about her and I said, Khani, this lady has thought this way all her life. This is her beliefs. It will not change. And
the reverse engineer.
yes, and when I brought her down, when I brought myself down to her level, in thinking, I was like, okay, this is how she thinks. Let us conversate on this level. When I brought myself down to that level, that is when I was able to have a constructive conversation with her. That is when I was humble enough to ask questions, give my input, listen to their actual advice, listen to what they have to say, right? And you will realize what shapes this person's mind, right? And that is what it is. So their minds are so bent around the narratives that you're gonna ask them to throw their life away. You can't tell the farmer down in St. Elizabeth to come work a corporate life or be an entrepreneur, my friend. All he exactly,
yeah,
all he not gonna work. He knows to raise pigs. He has a wife that isn't all that beautiful, and his ignorance keeps him happy. You understand? It's a simplistic life, and he wouldn't survive in the society that we were born in, that we were birthed in, I should say.
See, you pointed out something there I found very interesting just now.
Yeah.
You said that you had to bring yourself down, and I understand that fully because we see everything so high level at this point. Because you and I think very similar.
Yeah.
And you had to bring yourself down in order to benefit from what she had to offer to you. So even though yes, we feel like we might be more aware and we are seeing things with more clarity than everybody else, we have to remember that they might also have advice for us still. We haven't fully outgrown them yet. Maybe in the corners, if we bring ourselves down to their level and converse on their level, then maybe we can still learn a thing or two from them.
Yes.
So that I did not think about that, because all this time I was in my head thinking, oh, I am completely beyond all of these people.
Yes,
they do not exist to
I
me.
think about it as well, because what it has to do is, like, you have to realize that how does life look when you are inside their head? Like, what does their eyes see, perceive the world as, right?
What does an NPC see?
Yes, what does an NPC see? And sometimes you can listen to like what they have to say, because they're gonna give you advice based, and everybody gives you advice based off their life perspective. So they're gonna give you their advice off their life perspective, and in certain regards it can work. In certain aspects of life, you can apply the things that they're saying, right? But some people genuinely don't have nothing good to say, honestly, in my opinion. We're approaching 9-minute mark. We're approaching 9-minute mark. Yeah, man. Some people. All right. So that was your point, Tony. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna stop right here, and then we're gonna jump in the next one, and I'll come with a brand new point. All right. Let's boogie. All right, Tony. Yeah, man. So we're back. All right. So the next point that I wanted to talk about is habits, right? So you are the sum of your habits, and if your life isn't working out the way you want it, it is because of your habits, right? And this is something I can speak about, because I myself have some habits that I'm not particularly proud of. They would be okay with other people, I'm sure, but I'm so, wait a second, I want to fine tune my character so much that these habits, because I still indulge in them, they kind of eat away at me, right? And the reason why I say that you are the sum of your habits, like, your habits shape your personality. Your habits shape where you go. Your habits shape where you shop. Your habits shape who you talk to. Your habits shape who you're in a relationship with, right? Your habits literally shape your personality, because what I think is you attract people in your life who have the same type of habits that you do. All right, hear me out. If you're a party person, your friends are going to be people who like to drink, people who like to smoke a lot and go to parties and have fun and so forth and so on, right? If you smoke a lot of cigarettes, I'm sure you're gonna have a few friends that smoke cigarettes as well, right? If you're a type of person who plays video games all day, then you're gonna have friends to play video games with you all day, right? So these things, they add up to your personality, and then of course you attract the other people around you. I know this is why I say that if your life isn't working out the way, it is because of your habits, right? Every day you wake up, whether you like it or not, you have a routine, right? And that routine, your habits are included in that daily routine, right? So if that's the daily routine that you have every day and you pour, then if you continue that routine for the rest of your life, you'll never. How are you going to be rich? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man.
Right?
You will remain poor for the rest of your miserable little life.
Exactly. So you will never elevate yourself year after year. Your income won't increase. Your character won't increase. Your status in society will increase because you are now a slave to your habits. So you have to make sure that year after year you have to look at your habits and say, okay, these things that I'm indulging in every day, are they adding to my life or are they taking away from my life? Right? And the more you start to close in, the more you start to zoom in on these things and address them head on. I'm not saying it is easy. It is easier spoken about because habits are hard to break. Let me tell you, especially if that habit is an addiction, it is extremely hard to break.
Yes.
Right? But if you make the conscious effort day by day to address it, then I am 100% it will get better and your life will follow suit. What are your thoughts, Tony?
And when you phrase this like that, it really makes you think to yourself, why are people afraid of change? You know, they look around and they're not comfortable with their life. They look around and because your external environment, the immediate things around you, like your room, for example, when you go home, it is a reflection of your internal state.
Exactly,
so if over time the things around you don't start to look good, it means inside of you there's something going on that's wrong and needs to change.
Yes, Tonio.
Yeah, man.
I'll pick up where we left off, my friend.
Yeah. So I was saying that with your perspective, it makes people think to themselves, all right, then why would I be afraid of change?
Yeah.
It's like, if my actions aren't bringing me to where I want to go, then clearly something needs to change. These people I'm talking to, they're not reflecting the company that should be elevating me. The decisions I'm making are keeping me exactly where I am.
Yeah.
Right? So that means something obviously needs to change. And your external environment is a reflection of your internal state. So if you realize even like your room when you go home, it gets messier throughout the course of the week generally.
It does. It really does.
And you have to it really does, because it's like a reflection of your internal state, and throughout the week you accumulate all these things from the outside and you bring in back the stress with you, you know, and you just have to actually stop and consciously clean up the space.
Yes.
To start fresh again. And that's you. It helps you to refresh your mind, to give you a brand new start.
Yes, man, 100%, man. Beautifying your space is like clearing your mind as well. I feel like, especially for me, I work very good in a clean environment. So at the end of the week, I try to make sure that my priority, my day is Sunday. My Sundays are for me. I spend my Sundays. I groom myself. I get my room together. I do things for me on Sundays, right? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you're 100% right, man. All right, so Tonio, let us speak about that next point that you have written down on your list.
Let me check it out. So maybe so. Yeah, man. So yeah, bro, don't trust fat people. 100%. Don't trust them.
He said don't trust fat people, yeah.
Let me explain. Yeah, man. This have an explanation, because the loyalty, the ambition,
yes,
the kindness, everything comes together in one package. Look at even yourself.
Yeah.
I know this about myself, but I want you to look at yourself.
Yeah.
You know that you're trying to grow as a holistic individual. You're not trying to leave out individual parts. You want to grow to become the best version of yourself.
100%.
So why would you be fat? You get me? So that is an immediate indication that something is off. Because look at this now. Even if somebody is fat, right, and they're working to fix it, that's different. Because I like to say everything is a mindset. I say it, but I really and truly mean it. Because if you are aware, especially as a young person, that's a huge red flag for me. That's the biggest red flag. Because you're not taking action to improve yourself, which means lurking in the background. Even if you have a smile, you're a kind person, you might be looking to do things the easy way. So I can look for betrayal. I can look for some kind of disappointment coming down the road. I can look for lies, things like that. Because the truth, just you being like a kind person, that's you like to tell the truth, you like to come across as direct, you want to be the best version of you. It's just one singular package, and you cannot just choose individual parts and leave the rest out there. No, it's one. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think. All right, I understand your point, but I don't think you shouldn't just bash fat people altogether, because I'm pretty sure I know this guy that he's the trainer for the UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Ferreria, and he's his striking coach and jiu-jitsu coach. And the guy he's a teddy bear, but he's such a stand-up person. He's in the gym every day, right?
Yeah.
You can clearly see that they have a good relationship on camera, at least from what I've perceived. But I think you're so right about what you said. It does show discipline.
Young people.
Young people. 100%.
Young people, bro.
A fat young person.
The old people, we get the old people. You get that injury, your knees hurt, bad back, all of that.
We get it. But the young people,
people.
especially young men, I have no sympathy for fat young men. None whatsoever. You understand? You stay.
I mean, if you're old,
you stay as far as away
easy.
from me. You fat. If you're fat and you're young, stay far from me, bro. I will swing on you. If you are a young man from the age of 13, let's start at 13. From 13 to
13 to like 30.
13 to 30, and you're fat, fam, I will swing on you.
Fuck off.
I will swing on you just for being fat. Don't play. You understand? Get in the gym and get in shape. I have no sympathy for people like
100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bro.
Alright.
Because that shows so much. It's like without even opening the mouth, they're telling like a whole story already.
100%. You're telling me that you're showing me exactly who you are. I don't want to be associated with you whatsoever. You understand? Tonio, you mentioned earlier that you wanted to talk about the whole Vibes Cartel situation.
Yes. Yo, this Vibes Cartel situation. This is a perfect example of if you have enough influence and charisma and love from the people, the matrix isn't real, bro. Because look at this, the world is comprised of people make the world. If majority of the people is on your side, the rules don't apply to you. You're simply a sort of god at that point. Now we know, for people who don't know, Vibes Cartel is a dancehall artist that was imprisoned for murder, on the charge of murder, and he's been trying to come out for some years now through a bunch of retrials, and he finally came out this week. Now this man was supposed to be in prison for, I don't know what the charge is for murder, how many years or even life or whatever.
It was a long time, sir.
Point is, it's a long time. And this happened, and I think the power of the people had something to do with it.
100%. I just feel like eventually the narrative gets stronger than the conviction. You get me? I say eventually, eventually, I think that even you have to remember that even the judges, the prosecutors, these are people.
Yes, they're still people.
Same way. They're people same way. They can be convinced. They can.
Exactly.
You understand? A narrative can be pushed on them. It might not happen in a day. It might not happen in a year, but it can happen over time,
by years,
over time. So I feel like that's the reason why he's free now. Alright guys, so I just want to tell you thank you guys for joining us on Late Night Talks with Khani Campbell featuring Tony Ferreria. Unfortunately, Tony can't close us out at this time because he's having some technical difficulties on his end that prompted us to end the podcast a little earlier here. But I just want to thank everybody that took the time to watch this entirety of the video. Thank you guys for your continual support, and we hope to bring more interesting content to you guys. Remember guys to like the video, leave a comment of your thoughts that you have down below in the comment section. Remember to subscribe to both me and Tony's channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching, and have yourself a wonderful life. Stay woke in these streets. Bless.